Good evening, I'm Kelda Yoon. If you commute in the city, you've seen this. Drivers blocking intersections, clogging traffic, and adding to Toronto's congestion woes. The city wants to put an end to this all too common occurrence by increasing fines, but to do that, they'll need the province's help. Nama Weingarten has more.
This is a scene Torontonians know all too well. It's called blocking the box. It's when you're standing, waiting in the middle of an intersection. The light finally changes, but you can't move because there's a car right in the middle blocking it. Do you see that car over there? It just stopped in the middle of the intersection. People are having to walk around it. What do you think when people do that?
Yeah, I think it's very dangerous.
It's really annoying to get around, so majority of people don't actually come here with their cars. I think they would rather take GO Transit.
It's very disruptive.
Toronto City Councillor Jennifer McKelvey is calling on the province to let Toronto increase fines for people illegally blocking intersections and add automated enforcement like the speed cameras we already see around the city. As of right now, if you block the box, you could be fined $85.
The dollar figure that we're looking for is for police to be able to issue tickets for $450. And with automated technologies, we would look at a lower fine, just like you see with speeding as well, because in that case, the fine is linked with the car, not the drivers.
The Highway Traffic Act states municipalities are already in control of creating these bylaws. But according to the city's legal team, they need a green light from the province first.
So we're following that advice. We're asking the province, but we definitely know that the province has to allow us the ability to use automated enforcement, and that's something else that we're asking for.
This infrastructure expert says that solving congestion needs to be an all-hands-on-deck operation.
We need to speed up construction. We need to be providing better public transit and cycling alternatives. Ultimately, we have too many cars and not enough space. And some of these measures may provide a little bit of remediation, but overall, they're not going to cause a huge amount of difference in a city that is just being strangled by gridlock at the moment.
Along with trying to prevent drivers from blocking the box, the city is also trying to escalate fines for repeat offenders and increase work hours for capital projects so that less lanes are taken up by construction. Nama Weingarten, CBC News, Toronto.
One person has life-threatening injuries after a shooting in North York this afternoon. Police say it happened inside an apartment building near Downsview Park Boulevard and Stanley Green Boulevard. The victim was taken to hospital via emergency run. Police say 2 male youths were arrested and 2 males are still outstanding. One is described as wearing all black and red shoes, and the other wearing a red hoodie with gray shoes. Anyone with information is asked to contact police. And police have identified a 16-year-old as the victim in a shooting in Parkdale yesterday. Mohammed Doumbouya was shot inside an apartment building near King Street and Jameson early Monday. Police haven't made any arrests or released any suspect information. We are now into day 5 of the LCBO strike. Today, the Liquor Control Board scrapped its plan to temporarily reopen 5 stores tomorrow to supply wholesale customers. Queen's Park reporter Lorena Redekop has the latest on this ongoing labor fight.
Hey! These workers targeted a distribution center in Mississauga. The LCBO had planned to open 5 of these sites to supply bars and restaurants, but reversed that due to the threat of pickets.
You know, we don't want to be privatized. We're here to fight for more full-time jobs, our health care.
Bars and restaurants can order online, though amounts will be limited. Today, Ontario's finance minister sent an open letter to the head of the LCBO. In it, Peter Bethlenfalvy never directly mentions the strike, but says the evidence is clear. You can provide more choice while still generating revenue to invest in frontline government services. He also talks about those with a more short-sighted view that opposes change. Central to this dispute is the government's plan to sell booze in convenience stores. The union fears LCBO stores will close and jobs will be lost. The union president's reaction to the letter?
It's awfully short on details and awfully long on weasel words. There is nothing in there that actually guarantees a single job or what the future of the LCBO looks like.
The Liberal leader joined union members.
What workers need today is a guarantee of job security, of livable wages, and fair treatment. That's what this is about, and they're not getting this from Doug Ford, who's too busy spending his summer at the cottage, flipping hamburgers and putting out interactive maps.
It's summertime in Ontario.
That's a dig at a social media post by the Premier yesterday, directing people where to buy booze at other locations, not the LCBO. Local gin maker Reed's Distillery says the majority of their sales are to the LCBO. And while online purchases are up, they're not even close to those numbers.
Nobody wants to see small producers closing their doors. But the reality is that might start happening if there isn't a headway.
At this point, there's no sign of any headway. No talks are planned aimed at ending the strike. Lorenda Redicop, CBC News, Toronto.
5 people in Ontario have been hospitalized due to a listeria outbreak. Health authorities saying it's connected to some plant-based drinks like almond and oat milk. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency issued a recall on Monday. Stores are asked not to sell or serve 15 products made by Danone under the Silk and Great Value brands. And the agency asking people not to drink the products if they have them. Symptoms of listeria usually start within 2 weeks of consuming contaminated products, but it can take up to 70 days. They include nausea, fever, severe headaches, and cramps. A full list of recalled products is available at the CFIA website. And it was a historic night for Canadian men's soccer. Team Canada taking on Argentina in the semifinals of Copa America. Just making it this far, a huge feat already. And fans across the country, including here in the city, gathering tonight to cheer them on. Tyler Cheese is outside Rendezvous in downtown Toronto, one of the places that hosted a viewing party. And Tyler, we knew it would be a tough match. And despite a valiant effort, Canada falling to Messi and the Argentina team, how are the fans feeling?
Yeah, Kelda, it was an exciting game and Canada had some great chances, but in the end, Argentina did take the win at 2-0. Now, as for the fans, the overall sentiment here has been win or lose, it's just a great opportunity for people to come together.
Yeah, builds a sense of community. Yeah, it's nice.
Fans were out in full force tonight to support Team Canada as they took on Argentina. A lively crowd eagerly waiting for this historic game to get going. And no matter the outcome, most were happy to celebrate the significance of the moment.
We're big soccer fans. Like, we always support Canada women's soccer, so it's nice to see the men's now catching up with them. Like, it's good that both men and female are on the same level now.
History was already made, right? Because same final in Copa America, that's pretty big for Canada.
Canada beat Venezuela in a thrilling shootout last Friday, which earned them the opportunity to take on Argentina. Argentina is the top-ranked team in the world and the defending Copa America and World Cup champion.
As a kid growing up in Canada who's always been a huge soccer fan, it's always been a little bit rough not having, not being able to root for your home team, like your home country in these tournaments, like the World Cup, Copa, etc. So just super proud of the boys right now that they made it this far.
Even Toronto's mayor was out to show her support.
Watching it here is just wonderful to have people around under the sky and being able to cheer together. It feels really good. So I'm really excited. It's sort of like a dry run for the World Cup because in 2026, in 2 years, the Canadian team is going to be playing.
Now, this isn't the end for Canada in this tournament. They still have a shot at third place, which would be a huge achievement for this team. On Saturday, they'll take on the loser of Wednesday's semifinal between Colombia and Uruguay. Kelda?
Yeah, great effort by Team Canada. Thanks so much, Tyler. Our Tyler Cheese live. Welcome back. An update now on a story we've been following over the past couple months. Toronto track star Tamari Lindo and his family have been granted 1 year of reprieve from deportation following public outcry.
Family is also so relieved. They finally got the status that they should have had this whole time. So we're all really grateful. We're really happy. We thank the public, especially for signing those petitions, sending those emails, sharing the story. It's a huge relief for all of us.
The advocacy group Migrant Workers Alliance for Change announced today that Lindo and his family have been granted temporary resident permits. The family moved to Toronto when Lindo was 15 due to fear of political persecution in Jamaica. He is now 20 years old and recently captured bronze in the 110-meter hurdles at Canada's National Track and Field Championships. TicketMaster is warning customers of a data breach that happened in the spring, potentially compromising users' personal and credit card information. The company sending emails yesterday to customers who might be affected.
It's a very risky matter.
Oh, definitely not happy with it. Wondering if there's a way it could have been prevented, for sure.
So I think there's an expectation that they can do a better job of controlling their data breaches.
In the email, Ticketmaster said between April 2nd and May 18th, an unauthorized third party obtained personal information from customers. The company says it is now investigating and cooperating with U.S. law enforcement. A Brampton family has been dealing with weeks of stress and frustration as they fight hundreds of dollars in parking tickets from the town of Milton, even after they had reported that their license plate had been stolen. Sarah McMillan reports.
So these two are the first two tickets.
Priyanka Keshup had no idea her old license plate was racking up parking tickets until she got overdue notices in the mail last month from the town of Milton.
I was really confused because I don't live there. Each of them were $52.
Since late May, the town has issued 9 tickets, totaling more than $400. That's despite the fact that the plate is no longer registered to her or anyone. Keshup and her mother had gone to Peel Police when they noticed the front plate missing from her car. They believe it was likely stolen a few days earlier. Police advised them there was no need to file a police report and to simply report it missing to Service Ontario and pay for new plates.
We thought, well, that's a little peculiar because it's kind of concerning that now somebody might be driving around with this plate doing who knows what.
Peel Police say they won't open a police report unless there's proof a plate was stolen.
I see the concern, but because we see such a high number of license plates that do seemingly just fall off of cars sometimes because they're not secure, it's not feasible that we report them as stolen.
But when the family discovered all those parking tickets, the town of Milton said it would only dismiss them if they provided a police report. That's despite photos associated with the tickets showing a different colored car with a different vehicle identification number clearly visible.
It's definitely stressful because I thought it would be pretty simple. I show them the picture, this isn't my car, this isn't my VIN.
6 of the parking tickets were issued after the license plate was reported missing to Service Ontario. A spokesperson for the town of Milton said its bylaw officers don't have access to registration and ownership information when writing tickets, and that only administrative staff have access to that information, which they use when sending overdue notices. The town said it wouldn't comment on specific cases and didn't explain why overdue notices were issued even after the plate was reported missing.
And it has no front plate.
After discovering the parking tickets 4 weeks ago, the family returned to Peel Police. They say after a back and forth with police and the town, they were finally allowed to file a police report with the parking tickets as evidence.
If you bring that information to us, we will absolutely file a police report.
Constable Bell with Peel Police agrees the process the family had to go through was inefficient.
In this circumstance, it just seems like, unfortunately, there's not enough. There's not an infrastructure that's solid enough between all the entities that are involved here, and it results in somebody having to make multiple phone calls and take substantial time out of their life to deal with something that is out of their hands, and at the end of the day, someone victimized them.
Keshup got a copy of the police report on Friday and now hopes to have the tickets dismissed for good. Sarah McMillan, CBC News, Toronto.
Residents living near High Park are calling on the city to speed up changes to make their streets safer. They say Parkside Drive, which serves as a gateway to High Park, has long been known for dangerous driving and accidents. As Olivia Bowden explains, they feel the city isn't working quick enough to address their concerns.
It's not an unusual sight to residents in the area. Cars zooming south on Parkside Drive. The road by High Park has garnered a dubious reputation over the years for excessive speeding. That was the cause of a deadly crash that claimed the lives of 2 seniors in 2021. The city has been studying the road ever since.
It's just incredibly dangerous.
Faraz Golazadeh has lived on the street for 10 years. He's part of the neighborhood advocacy group Safe Parkside. He says it's taking the city too long to make improvements. Though the speed limit was reduced to 40 kilometers an hour after the deadly crash in 2021, residents have seen multiple crashes on the street in the last 6 months alone. Golazadeh says people coming from the highway aren't slowing down enough.
At the end of the day, signs aren't going to slow motorists down anyways. What you need is traffic calming measures.
He says the lanes need to be reduced and the sidewalks need to be widened.
We've been waiting forever. It's cost, like I said, innocent people their lives.
In the last 3 years, the city has made some changes to Parkside through its study of the street. Along with reducing the speed limit, it's added watch your speed signs, plus new traffic signals and speed cameras. Last year, drivers there were issued nearly 25,000 speeding tickets, the most of any street in the city. In statements to CBC Toronto, the city says Parkside Drive will see more changes as part of cycling upgrades. That includes a two-way cycle track on the west side of the street. Councillor Gord Perks also told CBC the bike lane should narrow the street and reduce speeds. The city also held a community consultation last year. Results from that will be posted on the city's website soon, and more improvements will be made if council approves them. And residents say while the city is figuring out what to do, they are worried someone could get hurt.
You shouldn't feel like you're, taking your life in your hands walking on the sidewalk going up the street.
The city is currently studying this road to determine what changes could be made to improve safety. They're currently looking at reducing the number of lanes from 4 down to 2, but it's unclear what the city's timeline is or when they're looking to implement these changes. Olivia Bowden, CBC News.
The Museum of Toronto paid tribute today to a fallen city icon, Conrad, a raccoon who died 9 years ago today, inspiring a sidewalk shrine and the viral hashtag #DeadRaccoonTO.
We decided to do a memorial because our exhibition, Toronto Gone Wild, that's open till November, looks at that relationship between the animals that live in our city and ourselves as humans. And raccoons are a key part of that story.
Conrad was found at the corner of Yonge and Church in 2015. His body lay on the sidewalk all day while passersby laid photos, flowers, and cards beside him. The museum's memorial today allowing visitors to leave notes to the late raccoon. Colette, good to see Conrad remembered 9 years on, 9 years ago. I can't believe it's been that long.
I can't either, because all the stories that come across, our airwaves, I have never forgotten that one. I don't think I ever will.
Yeah, no, it sticks in our heads.
Yeah, and there he is now in the museum as well. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about what we have to come here. Raccoons, everyone will be taking cover because we've got significant rain moving in overnight tonight, especially we'll see it intensifying as we get past the midnight hour and through the day tomorrow. I think some of the higher rainfall rates for the GTA are really going to be in those morning hours, so that's something to watch for. But a huge area in the rainfall warning where it's 40 to 60 millimeters of rain, and then even areas outside of that, like the Niagara region, still a special weather statement. You're still going to be seeing rainfall, but perhaps just a little below that criteria, more in that 20 to 40 millimeters of rainfall through there. Highs today, yes, continuing on with the heat warning, but then we're exchanging that for this new system moving in. So that takes the temperatures down. We get rid of that problem and move into that rainfall warning. I want to kind of show you the timeline here then. Watch southwestern Ontario, where really towards 2-3 a.m. some of the heavier rainfall rates will occur. And with that, I mean like 10-20 millimeters per hour, but it's heavy for a shorter period of time, and then it continues to rain, but not at quite that intensity. Embedded in here, will be some thunderstorms, however. And so that's why locally there will be pockets where you're going to see those higher rates. And so then we get into that risk of flash flooding, especially in areas that are prone to it. So taking you through even Wednesday, you know, the Canadian model, which I have on here, really keeps things pretty intense, at least in many areas, into the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow. Some of the other model projections kind of back off on this, and especially into Thursday, there's some disagreement. Thursday may actually be looking quite a bit better once we can get that final batch moving on through. This one's kind of blowing it up, I think, a little bit. So in terms of blowing things up, let's look at some of those areas like Kitchener, 50 millimeters, London, 60. In fact, London, St. Thomas, through that region, it could be up towards 70 millimeters. And this particular area, we may watch. If this slides a little further south, that could be upgraded to that rainfall warning. And you can see all told for Toronto, that risk of being close to 50 millimeters. Overnight temperatures, they're still mild, but it's really the fact that tomorrow we don't see our daytime highs changing much from those overnight lows. So just up to 22 degrees with that wet weather, 25 on Thursday, lighter precipitation, and then we break out of it. Rejoice as we go into Friday and the weekend. Sunshine back and nice temps.
Beauty. Thanks so much, Colette.
You're welcome.
And that is our show for you tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I will